In addition to the editor and the scene, materials can live in libraries. To access the library domain, use the browser. Browse from Material Library. It's this first radio button. To keep things simple, show only materials and leave root only checked. You should be looking at the default material library. Choose Lava Crust and drag this material from the library onto the teapot. Now the material is in the scene domain because it has been assigned to the teapot. I know something's happened because the teapot turned white. To see the full effect, we'll need to render. There's the lava crust. To understand why we're not seeing the lava crust in the viewport, we can bring the material from the scene into the editor. To do that, use the eyedropper tool right here. It allows you to pick a material off of an object and bring it into the active slot in the editor. In this particular case, lava crust is a blend top-level material. This particular kind does not allow you to preview the blend in the viewport. The navigator shows you the structure of the material, and this one is quite complex. You can actually learn a lot by analyzing the materials in the standard library. But I digress. Another way of working with library materials is to bring in a material into the editor first, before you assign it to something in the scene. Here, I'll select the metal rust material from the library, drag it and drop it into an editor slot. So now it's in the editor domain. There's no connection between the editor and the library. So I don't have to worry about messing up the material definitions in the library. Libraries can be shared among many users, so it's a way of accessing other people's work. Now, let's say I want to assign this material from the editor to the scene, so I'll use this button to get it onto the teapot. Now, I'll go ahead and tweak the material in some way. Maybe I'll uncheck self-illumination to turn it into a percentage, and I'll crank that all the way up to 100%. So now the material is glowing with an eerie light all its own. Maybe I've gone too far. Let's say that I've tweaked this material in a variety of ways, and I've kind of forgotten what I did. But I want to get back to the original material that I brought in from the library initially. I'll go back to the library, locate it, there it is, and I'll click this button, Update Scene Materials from Library. This will overwrite the scene material that I have called Metal Rust with the definition coming from the library. This teapot got a little bit duller perhaps because it's no longer self-illuminated. And this slot became cold. It's no longer showing me what I have in the scene. To update that, I'll use the eyedropper tool and pick the material from the teapot. Now we can see it looks like it did originally. On the other hand, maybe there are some changes I could make to this material that would be beneficial that I'd like to save into the library so that other people can access that. Perhaps I'll turn specular level down to 0, making this a matte material. Then I'll put it to the library. I'm doing that from the editor. Just to make this extra clear, I'll make a material copy to make this material cold, And you can see that this exists only in the editor right now. I'll put it to the library using the same name, and we are warned that it already exists in the library. I will replace it, and now the next time somebody grabs this material, it will be matte. It will no longer have any specular level associated with it. You might also create a brand new material that no one's ever seen before, and you can put that right into your library from the editor. Here I'll just keep it simple and make a material called test, and I'll make that green, and I'll put that to the library so that I can use it again on other projects, or perhaps other people can use it in my organization. Now it's in the library. Let's check it out. I'll go to the browser. I'm in the standard library. I'll go down here to test, and you'll see that it is a basic green material. So there you have it. Hopefully you can understand how to move materials between the 3 different domains and why you might do that. A lot of beginning users ask me, how come there are only 24 materials that I can ever make in Max or Viz? And they just misunderstand this concept. Yes, there are 24 slots in the editor, but you can move materials into the scene and into libraries where you can save as many materials as you want.